Hello everyone, this is Kenty Tiger with Bengali Engineering and Play. Welcome back. We are in No Man's Sky. I know this is a little diversion from my normal stuff, but hey, we're having fun, right? So we are gonna jump into the fighter here, which is my chosen spacecraft. So E to do that, the hangar bay doors will automatically open for you. Press W to do the launch. Out we go. You can see the sheer size of this freighter, which is a monster. So one of the neat additions to the game here was the addition of really a lot of flexibility and control. So I'm going to do an orbit around so you can actually see what the freighter looks like and just how big it really is. So definitely a major. Alright, off we go. Now, the freighter right now is in orbit of this particular planet that you see here stretched out on the horizon in front of me. So as I'm orbiting it, so this is a space station here, that's what that icon means. So if I were just to travel at normal speeds, sorry, this is not quite as responsive as I would like to be, considering it's a darn fighter, huh? Okay, so space stations you see. So if I were to travel at this particular speed, which happens to be 10 units per second, it's very, very slow. So obviously that will change as we go. So this is a marker, this one down here is a marker which was identified. So it's something that ultimately I can find and discover. So those kinds of things. So this is a freighter group. So if you're brand new to No Man's Sky, you're looking for these groups. If you want to buy a freighter, they're hideously expensive. You're going to be 70 to 100 million easy for this. So it's going to be quite a while in saving up. But you're looking for these groups of freighters, and you will see. If you see the symbol here on the right center of the screen there, that yellow thing that looks like a big something, that's my freighter. So your freighters or the available freighters to buy, you will see that as an icon on your screen, just like so that icon is completely consistent. It will never change. And the icon for the space station will never change. So those will always be the same. So anyway, freighters. In this case, I think I have two life forms left to discover, so I'm going to go ahead and make a planetary interface here. I apologize for the noise, but it's pretty noisy when you make an atmospheric interface. Shift will add on your booster, so it'll just make us come through a little faster, and the ground is going to come up really there. So, pull up. All right. So oddly, controlling the spacecraft has gotten a little bit more challenging. Now this game will very effectively, in fact, work with a controller. So if you have a controller that you like using, you will have that advantage. So my controller happens to be on the ship, so I don't have it while I'm at home. At this moment, don't have it. So there were a lot of mods that let you move slowly, move backwards, and they have actually incorporated an awful lot of ship's control, and it's a bit more sluggish than this version is a bit more sluggish. They did an update. I was playing underway with. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. This is a random, but if you look here now, dead ahead is a facility of some kind. So we're just going to go over here and land. some life forms there that I just flew over. E-Echo will land. Put my nose right into there and fall out of the sky. Okay, and then E will exit. E-Echo will exit you from this thing. Okay, so deuterium is one of the new elements, and there are two elements which you can only get. Actually, this is the only one that I can think of. Detritum? Detritum. I see trit, and I always think tritium, but anyway. So detritum is what I hope that is. And you need your exocraft to actually do that. So this is a Sentinel. For those of you, this is a Sentinel drone. There are actually 3 types of planetary Sentinels, and at least 3 spaceborne Sentinels. Sorry, that was standing on the edge here. Okay, so again, for those of you who have never played this game, this is a marker. This question mark says, I know something is over there, but I don't know what it is. In this case, the same thing is true here. It says I arrive in 21 seconds. That's actually a marker on the other side over there. Most of the markers are also your save points. So here's one of the things. I don't know if you actually saw that. There was a thing walking over here. There it is behind the stone. G is it G or F? Would it be F? Yes, it's F. Okay, so F is my scanner, and one of the things you notice, I've got a lot of green dots, I've got a lot of white dots, and a couple of red dots. Okay, the reds are the ones that I have not yet discovered, but I want to, clearly. The green ones are the ones that I've already discovered, which is all the species or subspecies of those species that I found. So I'm gonna walk this way because I want to find these guys. Okay, so that's scan. So you see I've got some white ones over here. So ultimately I need to pick a direction and then go and see if I can discover what some of these different ones are. So escape will get me into kind of a main menu kind of a thing. Discoveries is about all these different species. So on this, resets again. So as you do mod changes and everything, you may see these things change. So 4 of 6 species discovered. So as you see here, so E in this case, because I could spend you could spend an infinite amount of time actually coming up with your own names for all of these different things. So I just tend to accept as I go. Plants. So I have discovered 10 different varieties of flora. So the expansions to your scanner, or rather your visor, your analysis visor, will not increase your chances of finding something. What it does is it gets more details about that particular thing that you have found, and it will increase the amount of money that you get, the amount of units that you will be paid for that discovery. This portion does not change. When you actually do the upload, that's static. So in this case, you see 2,500 units here for upload. That's static. But when you first discover it, you also hear your AI that says units received. So that figure that comes up on your screen could be into the 20 or 30,000 units. So that's the sum that you really want to see. So the visor, in this case your analysis visor, as you expand that out, will increase that particular feat. So you will get units much quicker by expanding your visor out. So definitely worth the thing. So you have flora here. Oh, sorry, fauna. My apologies. And then flora, which is all your plant life. There are some plants that are, of course, common to everywhere. So this is your platinum. As you're roaming around, you'll see this same plant, which is called different things. It's called something unique on every planet. Zinc. So this is your oxide. This is your silicate. And then your I'm drawing a blank. Your isotope, sorry. Okay, the I word, your isotope. So those are your three different basic elements. Um, so the other thing here is what basic resources are going to be on this planet. Now, this is not limited to these. Okay, there will be more. These are the major ones. So selenium. So we talked about this. This is that one that you get from the root. So this is a very hot environment. You will find aluminum and copper in not necessarily abundance, but you will find them commonly, and iridium, which is everywhere. I don't think there's a planet that does not have iridium, so you will always find iridium. And I think they did that on purpose because when you first start a game, you need iridium to repair stuff. So selenium, this is the rare item, so that purple item, and then the neutral items, mostly trade, but you do need some. In the case of some of the advanced technology, you do need some of those. That's why I've got a stash of all the different neutral elements sitting on the freighter. All right, journey. Show you where I'm at in my journey. Okay, so I have done a whole lot of walking around. Okay, so traveled 112,000 steps. Is that a lot? Yeah, that's definitely 10 or 12 hours of gameplay, but given the fact that you're going to do a lot of roaming. 33 aliens. Quite a few aliens, but ultimately, you know, almost there. Babelfish. There's some cheating involved here. So learning all of these different words, I just get tired of learning the words, and it's just one of those kind of more mundane things. Magnate. Okay, so you see a figure of 2 billion here. The game will crash if you go over like 2.2 billion or something like that. So you definitely don't want to get up into the, when you get in the 2 billions, just start throwing money away because you're eventually going to crash. So if you get into integers and programming, there's a certain point where a large integer will actually go negative on you. So gotta be careful there. Destroyed starship. So I haven't spent a whole lot of time in space. My space travel right now has been getting from the planet to my space station, or the space station for the system, or my freighter. So that's the only space travel I've done. So no real combat yet. I've spent a lot of time killing sentinels because I wanted this one. So 2 different types of sentinels, or 3 on a planet. So there is the normal sentinel drone. It used to be that you got credit in this number for sentinel drones. Not the case anymore. The second level or rather the second tier and third tier sentinels are the ones you have to destroy to increment this particular milestone. Okay, so it will keep track of everything you've killed here, but the ones that matter as far as the advancement of this particular one goes is the tier 2 and tier 3 drones. So the quadruped drone, which is on the ground, and then the 2-legged thing, which looks strikingly like a Star Wars. I think it's an AT-AT, the 2-legged Imperial ground-based thingy. Hopeful. I have not roamed around, so I have not found any of these extreme condition worlds yet. As you can see, I've only warped once, so I've gone from my initial solar system that I landed in to this one. I tend to go really nuts when it comes to the planets, so you can see I've discovered all the species on 2 planets. So for those of you who played this game, know that that represents quite a bit of time to discover all the species. So that's actually why we're on this planet, because I want to get this one up there. So I tend to go to every single planet in a star system and do that. So these are the journey milestones which were implemented in the initial game. So these have always been here. They're still here. The guilds were introduced. This was part of the Atlas update, if I understand everything correct. This is also where you will get missions, for these representative guilds. The Gek, the Viking, and the Korvax are the same ones that you saw in the original game. They're still here, and now they break out what all these different aspects are. So you can actually see what level you are with them very, very clearly from this screen. So this is your journey screen. Log. Your logs show all of the missions that you have. So this is your primary, which is literally, again, warp to another system. Guide. So this is your help. This is your in-game help. And options, now you're back into the actual stuff. So I was telling you about the save game data here. These are the 3 earliest that you have, or the 3 latest game saves that you have available to you. You can load any one of these. So if you come up with a problem that you think, oh, my game is hosed, then you could load the previous. The current is your last save game. So after they drop off of this, they go into the backup folder automatically. So you don't lose save game. So general options. So they've moved the menus around a little bit as far as how they go. So return back to the world. All right, so we're going to go over here. This is the little marker over here is obviously a save game thing. So as I approach this thing and do a save, it will identify what this particular facility is. So E, the echo. So this is this game's function, and you'll actually see the store point saved. So now, for example, okay, you see that this one just saved. So that's the most current save, and you'll notice that 1604 dropped down. Okay, so my current save now becomes my reload previous, and then reload earliest, and then the one that was on 19 September actually dropped off the world, which didn't really drop off the world, it just dropped off into the backup folder. Alright, back to the game. This is, let's see what this thing says it is. So this is now, what does it say? It doesn't say what it is. It's a shelter. I know it's a shelter because I've seen it before. Radio telescope there. Not a whole lot here. So stock transactions, this has never changed. For that. Couple extra units. Sometimes you'll find nanite things or a species discovery thing. So we have 2 shelters here. Okay, so this is this used to be the kind of thing you were looking for. These yellow things that would give you a technology blueprint. Now they give you nanites, and then you sell the nanites for blueprints. You buy blueprints using nanites. Okay, one of the other improvements I've seen in this game is it used to be kind of a challenge that you had to be near any given area to actually get these to show up on your screen. Now I've noticed if you are within about 2 minutes and 20 seconds of them, they will automatically show up on your screen. So you don't have to scan, you don't have to, they just poof and they're there, which is actually kind of neat. So the knowledge stone here is normally where you would get new words. So I believe I am in Viking territory currently. So because I did the hack and I have learned all the language, these come up with learn nothing new. So that's to be expected. And you don't get any money or anything from learning. Okay, F. I think oh, there's another red. I gotta go. All right. Okay, creature belongs to already discovered species. So, which is fine. Fine. All right, here's what, so my methodology here. So you can see there's a lot of creatures down here. So I'm going to do the scan again. All of them are green. So I have discovered, but you see a boatload of undiscovered ones here. So one of the things that my methodology is to, I don't know if any of you are adventurers in real life, but one of the things they taught us, whether you've done it in Scouts or my particular church group was called Pathfinders, effectively the same thing. So it teaches you kind of life and survival skills within a group as you're growing up. So whether you're in Scouts or Pathfinders or anything else, the basic idea is the same. So basic survival type stuff, an awareness of nature, an existence with nature. So one of the things to keep you from getting lost in a forest, when you're walking along, you put your eye on a tree in the distance, directly ahead of you. You do not take your eyes off that tree. So as you're walking towards that tree, you're walking in a straight line. As you're approaching that tree, you look for another tree in line with that one, farther off in the distance, and you lock target on that one. It keeps you walking in a straight line. So if you intended to go north and you have taken out your compass and sighted in on the map, this is north, now you can keep traveling effectively north without having to pull your map out every 30 seconds. So the idea was to maintain a particular direction. I've used that same philosophy in this game, and it keeps me on track. So what I do is when I find these kinds of things, so I have all these white ones in front of me, I pick a direction, whether it be north, south, east, or west, doesn't matter what direction, you just maintain that direction and keep going. And the reason for that is as you travel through and you've discovered an area that has a lot of life, so you're all green there. So if you wander around, you could actually come back onto the same exact area that you've been, and then you'll be frustrated because, well, there's a boatload of animals here, but damn it, they're all green. Well, of course they're all green. You already discovered them, you fool. So, walk in a straight line. So in my case, what I tend to do is go north. So why do I pick north? In this case, the only two cardinals that show up, if you look at the compass on the top center, it shows north and it shows south. Okay, so you do not have an east and a west marker anymore. So you can either go north or you can go south, and because you have a marker there, then you know approximately where you want to go. So that helps me to stay approximately walking in a particular direction. So I use the north, that's my goal, but as I find these other facilities and sites, I use those as I'm going to go over here. I know that already. Yes, I do. All right. So this is my goal as I'm wandering through. One of the other things that I want to try, and I don't know if I can do this, so one of the things I've been wanting to do is play with the extra crap, and because this particular game is broken, I could not get the extra crap, so I may have to do a little bit of cheating here to get my extra crap. So let's see. Okay, so I need a voltaic cell and a dynamic resonator, so really I just need the voltaic cells. So unfortunately, because I get those from my Exocraft guy, and I can't get them from the guy because the game is broken, which is to say my save game is broken. It's not a broken game, it's my save game is broken. So, having said that, let me cancel out of this. Let me go to my inventory and see what I can do. Darn it. So I don't know if I have any technologies available. Let me see. What do I need to build marrow bulbs? Okay, so I can build these things. I just need marrow bulbs. Where do I have... Alright, so Mara bulbs. That's where I was going with that. Freighter. And I do not have Mara bulbs on the freighter either. I think I sold them all. Yep, I sold them all. Okay, well, I'm gonna write it down just because I need to know that. Oops, I don't have anything to write with. I have something to write on, but not something to write with. Alright, so now I know what I need, but we'll deal with that later. Alright, so my goal is north, but what is this? You know this? Yes, I already know that one. So one of the things I recommend as you're playing the game here, especially if you're doing the adventure type thing, you'll learn what all the different things, what flora and fauna. There's things that do not scan. There's other things that do. Your first 10 minutes on the planet, no matter what planet it is just scan everything. It's only money in your pocket. It takes absolutely nothing out of you. These are all plutonium, by the way, these crystalline structures. So you'll see a lot of different ones of these. You'll see yellow ones, which are most likely titanium, but sometimes you will see gold. Sometimes you'll see emerald, which are both neutral elements. So, you know, finding those is always a good thing. So you bring out your mining laser and shoot them, and that's how you collect these. So in this case, I've got quite a few of them already, and no matter what it is, you can see. So this one, if I destroyed this, would be iron. These down here would be carbon compound of some kind. Again, more plutonium over here if you really need plutonium for anything. So my freighter up here, you can see exactly how big that is. It's in the upper atmosphere, but it's a monster. Again, the largest of the capital freighters. This is this type of freighter here. You can see its shields going there because it's in the atmosphere. So your call as to plutonium is reasonably abundant. You can decide what you want. You can like get into combat with these guys all the time. So there's some more of that pugnum and zinc in this case, or carbon, and depending on their threat level and whether you continue to escalate is whether they will discontinue or not. So down here, these canisters that they will do, they're marked as debris, but this actually comes from destroying. So neutrino module, which are one of a dimensional matrix, is the other. I think it's dimensional matrix. There's three things you're going to find: a dimensional matrix, a neutrino module, which we just got. I think it's a dimensional matrix, or nanite clusters. So you can get any one of those three out of these canisters. But that's it. You're only going to see those three. And there really is hostile life forms around. In fact, this one here is one of them. So this is considered to be a plant. But what you see, this rolled up thing, it will actually unroll and whack the snot out of you. So if you're well protected, it's no big deal. If you're not well protected, it's gonna whop the snot out of you. So your choice, what you want to do here. They'll give you carbon. Alright, so I'm going to walk in this direction. If you do a walk and you do shift, it will change it kind of into run. So this is a solar vine up here. And speaking of solar vine, it's something I've kind of neglected to do. C is a scan. It's omnidirectional. That was a scan, and it tells you everything you can see. So I have zinc. You see this this symbol here is right there in the center of the screen, is this exotic. So zinc, plutonium, which are those crystalline forms, and you'll see thamium. Here we go. So thamium. Thamium is a plant, so it grows. The plutonium is the crystal, and zinc is also a plant, just like we said before. So up here, and once you get close to this and can interact, then it's an E to collect. You see it shrinks down. This will grow back. So if you had some way to mark this area, you could in fact come back to that, and it would probably grow back up. Okay. Things down here, we have to figure out how to get down here without falling, which I guess we're just going to... Okay. Oh, ow. I could have used my jetpack there. That is one of... I'm trouble seeing it, but probably one of those unrolly vine things. That was jetpack, by the way, which is spacebar. We'll do the same thing again here because I want to go over that. Oh, there is a creature there who wants to eat me. And he'll come out here. This is a galactic trade area, so once I get on the ground, he'll probably come over here and try and eat me. Yes, right there. Now, the neat thing about the neat thing about, let me turn on my torch, flashlight, depending on what part of the world we're from. Right, because I really want to got a bit of zinc, pugnum. Alright, so here just a second ago was, where did that little guy go? There it is. Okay, so one of the things about the scanner when you find life forms, so this guy was obviously hostile, he wanted to eat me, so I had to shoot him. But you can still scan them. Found 6 of 6. Alright, so that was the last species that I needed here on this planet, which means I don't really have anything other than discovery that I could do here. So I found all of those, but having said that, so we go escape so we can get to that particular screen. We go to discoveries, and we are going to put, so this is an E to upload. And E upload. Okay, and strangely enough, it's saying 5 of 6 species discovered. So okay, I'm confused, but okay, off we go. So originally it said 6 of 6. Let's go back in and see if something changed. 5 of 6. All right, we'll continue on. It said 6 of 6, but yeah. Okay, so belay my last. Okay, so as you're roaming, again, just keep using your visor, which can tell you are they green or are they not green. So clearly some things that I have not. Okay, so trade goods here. galactic terminal, you might as well take advantage of it. E. Oops, sorry. So, I was looking for the bulbs. So, I need bulbs. This does kind of give you a summary. So, let's sell things first. So they added a couple things into the game that made it a lot easier to do. So selenium, I don't really need to keep this. Armadium is the other, so that deuterium is the counterpart to this armadium. So if you remember, if you've played this game before, there were these sites where you used to be able to find platinum. In the 6 little modules, and you destroyed them, and you would attract an awful lot of attention. Anyway, having said that, that's where you get armadium. It's something you need to build your extra craft, as far as I know. So sulfurine, radon, and nitrogen are the 3 gases which you can collect in different areas. So a lot of stuff there. So what I am looking for is the bulbs. So they're this class of things, but we'll see. Viking dagger. Okay, so I can sell this. I can sell the Viking dagger. I can sell the neutrino module. I have 250 platinum, which I could sell. One thing of note is the materials that you have in your cargo inventory are not accessible here. So I think that's a good thing. So when you're doing stuff like building or anything, you have complete access to that automatically. So let's say I'm all out of Heridium, I don't have Heridium, but I want to feed a particular creature that needs Heridium. So if I only have it in my cargo inventory in my exosuit, it will still pull it from there. So as long as it's in my exosuit, then it's usable for me. But when I'm selling, or in fact buying, the inventory is your general inventory, your general suit inventory. So in this case, I had some zinc, I got some titanium, I can sell the effigy, I can sell all of that plutonium that I've played around. Mordite is another thing that you may or may not need. Carbon, you can sell that. Samium, I can go ahead and sell that too. Okay, let's see what else. Alright, toggle W to sell. So I've sold everything, I think, that I could possibly sell. And what I want to do is find, so these are all the different elements that I can find. What I want to do is find those bulbs. So star bulb, nice thing there, but I don't need that. I need marine, one of the rare elements of the game. Nickel. So again, I'm looking for those bulbs, and I don't think I'm gonna find them. Darn it. Darn it. Alright. So, this one said you can find everything, but can't quite find everything. So, oh well. It was kind of nice to see it anyway, but alright, so the other thing I want to do while I'm here, because this is a place, now you can go through all of these, so obviously, so here's a cargo drop, you're going to find oxides. If you have an Atlas pass, this is going to be like a suspension fluid or an electron vapor or something of that nature. The damaged container here, you're going to find rust, a rusted metal. Go ahead and go into that and just to show you. So rusted metal, which you can sell. It's not worth that much, obviously only 20 units, so, you know, but it's another thing that you can collect and sell. So to open this container, you have to remove this rusted metal. So normally I just discard this and then whatever you happen to do. So this is like, okay, Korvax Convergence Cube, you'll find a Viking Dagger, you'll find a Gek Charm, you'll find a Fascination Bead. It's just the bizarre collectible curiosities is the category that these things will normally contain. So the drop will be, in this case it's marked as an oxide, but you can find other things in there. So, oh, it said nothing found. So anyway, you can open all these. The red containers, which are often in these kinds of sites, will be an isotope of some kind, typically. Okay, so we're going to turn north, which keeps us in our straight line, so we're going to be approximately north. I'm going to do a C for scan. I'm going to jump over this. I see a lot of things out there in front of me. So I'm going to do an orbit, see if there's anything I'm missing. So zinc over here. And because I just have a boatload of stuff, so whether this is on this side or the other side, the selenium, it's actually sitting right over here. So I might as well pick it up. It's right here close. I didn't see that because, of course, I didn't do a scan. If I had done a scan, I would have seen it, huh? So again, this is just something you're going to sell, but it's those exotics that you pick up. So here's this deuterium thing, which you need your exocraft to be able to do it. Okay, turning north. Launch off the top here. Continue on north. So I see one ahead of me, one slightly to starboard here. F to open the visor, which looks like all of these are green. So one of the things I do not think I've done yet is the birds. Now, it used to be they were all organized according to land, caves, aquatic, and air. Oh. Yeah. I believe I've discovered this guy already, yes. So those guys normally live in caves. So you see the little red arrows there are telling you where the drone is going to come from. He's right there. So some zinc out of that deal. And again, if you want to collect, there's a barrel over here. There's a barrel under both of them. So obviously I'm not going to run back and get that other one. So we have another site discovered here. So it popped right in even though I didn't do a scan or anything like that. So even though... Okay, so we definitely have a boatload of life here, but... Alright, so as long as I know that's over here, then that gives me another goal. So we'll head that way. Yeah, of course. So the trick here is scan often. We see a whole lot of green. A lot of green. Alright, off we go. Sometimes these guys, this little coiled thing over here, are a little hard to see, especially at night. So whether you want to leave them or kill them all. Plutonium, and we have some more. Is that close? Yep, it is. So we'll go ahead and stop in over here and get this solar vine. Not that I, really need the money for anything. I've got 800 million something. Not a big deal. So you see another one of these popped up on the screen here, so great point. Alright, so F to scan, so I'm looking for anything that is red. Which is nothing. So somewhere, I'm guessing, there are birds. So my guess is the last one is birds. So, we were talking earlier about the life. So the old Discovery page, this is now in a straight line. It used to be there were 2 rows of stuff, and those 2 rows were in order. So your land-based creatures, the cave-based creatures, the air-based creatures, and then the water-based, aquatic-based creatures. And so you could kind of tell approximately where they were, what you were looking for, and you could kind of focus your search based on what you presumed was the things you were looking for. So, okay, nothing unreported here. I've got one more. So let's look at this system. This is the system I'm currently in. Obviously, I'm on this Shekinama Demab Inkar planet. And again, you can change the names of all these different things, and as your heart content, as much as you want to, but I tend to not, just because there's so many of them that I'd run out of names long before I concluded discovery. So what's the important things here? So the dominant life form, you're in a Viking zone. So there's the 3 different races that you will encounter. The Viking, which is a very warlike race. You have the Korvax, which are they're a digital race. So they are basically a digital life form. So a silicon-based life form, AI-based life form. And you have the Gek, which are like miniature birds kind of guys, flightless birds. So they're kind of neat. That's why they have a beak. So anyway, in this particular system, there are 5 planets. I have discovered, as you can see, one of those planets. So this Neinskap, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, kind of the German twist there of the dual valve, so I hope that is how it's pronounced, don't know. There were 5 planets, as you can see here, 5 planets. So I had gone to all 5 of those planets. So that's my goal for any system I'm in, is to go to all of the planets, if for no reason, just to set down and get the stats. If I'm trying to discover all the life forms, then trying to go do that is pretty important. So in this case, we have 5 planets. I've only been to 1, so I have 4 other planets in this system that I can do some discoveries. And needless to say, as you're traveling through, getting 10 planets, so if we look at our journey again, let's go to journey milestones. So, discovered all species on 2 planets. So, the goal is to discover all of the life forms on 10 planets. So, the milestone is always, next milestone is in 1. So, all you have to do is 10, and you will have completed this milestone set. So you will have plenty of time to complete this particular milestone set over the course of your adventuring. So am I really worried about doing it all here? No. But I get to that, in this case, 5 of 6. And I want that last one. I want the goal. And if I actually make the goal, then great. But again, I tend to kind of put my limit at that. If I'm 4 hours on the planet and I still haven't discovered this particular thing, then it is time to move on. And again, my guess is that I'm looking for an airborne. I'm looking for birds. Is my guess, because these are often hard to find. The spider-looking things that we saw, the predator ones that were coming after me and wanting to steal my suit, those guys are normally cave-based. So I think that covers my cave, which means I have birds and aquatic are all that's left. And this is a hot planet, so there's not going to be any water anywhere. Okay, so this is called a shelter. The only thing I could possibly find in here is nanites. And I already have a boatload of nanites, so I'm not really going to worry about nanites. So I'm just going to come over here and save. So again, I have 2 cases over here which you could get into, but don't need those. I have a bunch. Ultimately, the things like electron vapor, the things like suspension fluid, you turn those into a warp cell. So once you have a bazillion warp cells, you don't really need any more of the lesser stuff that you use to turn them into warp cells. So once you have enough of those. So having said that, on we go. So we turn north, and conveniently we have another facility over here. That is my next goal. Okay, I see a kind of a tortoise-looking thing over here. So, have I discovered that? Yes, I have. Okay, there was something here that triggered. I don't know what it was. Again, the shift, which turns me into a sprint. Running covers ground a little faster, obviously. Most of the life forms you meet are benign, so you don't have to worry about them sneaking up and biting you in the toe. There are some. And again, this is a shelter, there's not much here. So in this case, I'm just flying over the ditch. Do a scan. I really do want to find any life forms left. All green. All green. Alright. Waypoint. Do a scan. So a container of some kind over here. I'm going right over there anyway. So I'll do another save. Every time you do a save, which is to say you find a waypoint, You know, eventually you want to go back into the discoveries thing. I didn't see this on the scan, but I know this is a solar vine. So do another scan. Another solar vine dead ahead. We'll go ahead and do that. Big monsters. So thankfully, as we've seen, again, most of the life forms are benign. You will find a couple of them that are not so benign. I think that is a beacon up there, which is a great big radio tower. But that's my next one, and while it's a little bit off so here's north, so we're just slightly to port side here and heading forward, but so be it. And I really think I'm looking for birds. That's, I think, the only thing I have not seen. My freighter up here. One of the other neat things that they put into the game, there used to be a mod for it where you could actually build a ship summoning device. And that mod was broken, I discovered when I started playing this again underway. And I discovered it was broken for a very, actually a good reason. And once we get to this next section here, so they're all green. They're all green. Good thing. Means I've discovered them all, but oops, sorry. Excuse me. Again, I don't need these, but hey, they're here, right? We're just about marching over the top of them, so I might as well. Which reminds me, scan. So plutonium, or sorry, platinum, which is a growing platinum, but I don't really have a lot of need for platinum. This is behind me now. My StarCraft is behind me, my starship. But I wanted to get to this facility, which is the beacon here. Alright, so interact with the beacon. The beacon is going to find something, whether it be an advanced life form, usually an advanced life form. Shelter, yep, advanced life form. So it puts that waypoint onto your map, so you see it now. It's on my compass. Now if I were to walk on the ground, that's going to be an 11-minute journey. If I fly, it's going to be a whole lot less than that. So what I want to do is actually bring my starship here with me. So X brings up a special kind of a thing, and I can do that in a moment. But so summon ship. So they actually incorporated. A summoning, which I thought was really cool. And my starship is going to land on my head. So again, here's what my fighter looks like, which I thought was a really cool design. It's not the smallest of the fighters, but here's my fighter. So, I think I will go ahead and do is, oh, not enough fuel on launch. Well, let's run do that. So, Plutonium, this is in my base inventory, and let's go ahead and do that. Okay. A, to get back to my exosuit, because I know these are out. So everything else should be going up on its own. Still some more nanite clusters there. Mordite, you get this, so a haunting crystalline compound. It is released from the cadavers of some species or can be specifically cultivated and harvested from the mordite root plant. So the reason I have mordite in my inventory is because I've been killing things. So those little spider creatures that come out after you, this is what all of this is from. The Puginum, again, is from the drones. So the Sentinel drones is where that came from. And then, of course, the nanite clusters as you just acquire them. And I've sold everything else. So I have the three gases here that are in the game now. I don't know if there's anything that you can do with those other than sell them. So I ended up with them in my inventory, and I haven't done anything with them. So, all right. So I think I filled my launch thruster. That's a W. In my case, I want to turn just a little bit, and then this is not very responsive. I kind of don't like. Kind of one of those, this is a fighter, it's supposed to be extremely agile, and putting it bluntly with brevity, the handling of this particular ship now sucks. To exit my ship. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is do a scan. See, it's over there, so I've got some solar vines over up the side of that hill over there. Some over here. Alright, let's just do a quick scan. And it's all green. It's all green. Excuse me. Alright, so advanced life form. So, we've got to find the entrance. Abandoned building. Am I in the wrong place? Says 61 units away, so yep, I should be here. Abandoned building, huh? It says advanced life form, but I'm not sure why it'd be an abandoned building. It's kind of strange. Alright, let's see if we can find the entrance here. It's getting dark very quickly. Is an abandoned building. Okay, the good news is there's some interesting stuff in here. So damaged machinery. It used to be the damaged machinery would give you blueprints. So one of the things you see is a superconductive lock, which is kind of a new thing. So it takes 10 iridium, like 10 iron, and I don't remember what the other one is. Sorry, I didn't stay on there long enough. So now it gives you nanites, and then of course you can use the nanite clusters to buy other stuff. One of the kind of pains in the ass about these facilities is they have these coil things that are up on the ceiling. There isn't one in here, but you have no way of killing them. You can't actually, so for example, I can't, so I'm pressing left click, which will normally bring your weapon out, your multi-tool, and let you do things. So this is an encyclopedia which you would normally get a word from, but because I know all the words, then I don't get anything. So there's corrupted material in here, but alright. So residual goop. So you might as well just collect this, and you can discard it or collect it. So in this case, I'm transferring it into my personal inventory, and then I can actually use this terminal. So I glimpse the crimson orb between the clouds, abashed and baleful eye, unblinking and monstrous. Fear turned the blood in my veins to ice. I was so afraid it would see me, but then the clouds moved and it was gone. I was no longer certain if I had if it had ever been real. Perhaps the fungal deposits from the last world I visited are still clogging my exosuit vent, affecting my cognition somehow. I have cleaned my filters 6 times now, but I still feel it inside me. Analyze data log. I discover something coded deep inside the long dead traveler's data log. So this is what you used to see for these abandoned buildings. You would end up with a blueprint, is what it was, which was always nice. Something has been left that would aid me on my journey. So they've added a lot of story to the game, which was fun. So in this case, nanite clusters, which is quite a bit. There was almost 60 there, 59 of them was there. So if I travel on through here, my guess is I'm eventually going to find one of these guys here up in the corner somewhere, which will reach down and smack me. So the good news is we see some fixtures here that actually are useful. So here's a shield generator, and I don't think I have any shield issues, so shield is at maximum. Here's another stock checker. So you get, there's 1,912 units, not a bad thing. And sometimes if you see these, they're going to be a species something or other. So you can raise your standing with any given group. We have a health box over here, a box of health, which is not going to do me any good. I think I'm already maximum health. So these were the red boxes I was telling you about. This one's going to be empty. Nothing found. This one's also going to be empty, but a lot of times you'll find isotopes in here, so anything from usually plutonium is what you'll find in here. Alright, so nothing more in here. So I'm not sure why that said I was going to find an advanced life form here. I thought that was a little bit different, a little bit strange that it was pointing me to an advanced life form when in fact it was an abandoned building. That was a little strange. Alright, so one more orbital scan here to see that everything is green. Oh, you know what? Maybe... Well, that might have been the problem. I landed short. It's still over there. So, just for the fun of it, because it's only a minute away, then why don't I go ahead and... Oh, those are neat. Oh, but I've already discovered. I don't remember those, but okay. So WASD is our directional controllers here when you're just using the keyboard, and then Shift makes you into. Of course, I'm using the. Using my jetpack here. I've got the cheat button on, so my jetpack is infinite. Alright, so once again we will do the F or scan. Let's see if we discover anything new. Do a complete orbit here. Not sure what the terminal there is. 6 minutes. Well, there's this. Set that up just because. Scan. So over here is some sort of machinery which I could collect, a box of some kind of cargo, and then of course all the different stuff around. This is a knowledge stone, so you can roam over there. Those disappear very quickly. So the knowledge stone is going to give you a word. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Alright, so save often. I don't want to say this game is unstable because it's actually amazingly stable. I have had very few crashes in this game, so I think they did a very good job in the design. So one of the things I'm going to do over here, now there is a life form here, so I was actually confused. I was at the abandoned building because it was close. I landed shy of the destination. Oops. So one of the things you can do here is a bypass chip. Bypass chips are really cool. So what I'm going to do here is, go into my inventory. I'm going to do an E, and then there's these bypass chip. Okay, so I need 10 plutonium and 10 iron to create a bypass chip once I know how to do it. So they're not very expensive. Plutonium is everywhere on a planet. Iron is everywhere on a planet. Unfortunately, these are single-use items, so you notice I have that in my inventory. I'm going to turn to this thing. I'm calling my starship, basically. So this is a recall, and the starship will then come to me. I could do the same thing by, stepping off to the side and doing the recall with the X. But so that used and lands. Around, now it's here. So there's my ship all landed on the landing pad, and if we go back into my inventory, you notice the bypass chip is gone. Okay, so that's a single-use consumable item versus the Atlas passes, which you make them once and you keep them forever. It is truly an access pass rather than the bypass chip, which is a single-time use. Alright, so let's go in and see what this guy is. So just for fun, in fact I'm a little over an hour, so let's break right here, and that way I'm not dragging this one out, and we'll keep going on the discovery. So this is where we'll sign off. So Kenji Tiger, see you later, and we'll catch you next time.